Hey loves, so today I'm going to be talking about the 12 responsibilities of self-mastery, and I'm going to kind of do this in the same style that I did my other video with paradoxes that will help to enhance your life. So I'm going to read out each one and then we're going to go through them individually. So we have self-actualization, self-sovereignty, self-containment, self-discipline, self-love, spiritual integrity, appreciation, patience, kindness, conservation, cooperation, and sense. Which I do believe these are all very important and key factors when it comes to mastering thyself. So we're going to go through each one and break them all down. So if you're interested, let's get into it. Welcome back to my channel, guys, and welcome if you are new. My name is Tyla and I'm so excited for this video because I came across this on Pinterest actually, and I was like, wow, okay, I've never seen this before. I've never really got too deep into the pyramid because there's actually a pyramid with the 12 responsibilities or principles of self-mastery, and I found that this was very useful, so you guys know I had to share it with you guys. Now, I've heard of each one individually, but I didn't know that there was a set list. So we're going to go through the whole list, starting with self-actualization. So this says the realization or fulfillment of one's talents and potential, especially considered as a drive or need present in everyone. A self-actualizer is a person who is living creatively and fully using his or her potentials. It refers to the desire for self-fulfillment, namely to the tendency for a person to become actualized in what they are potentially. Now, I like this one because it helps you to awaken to who you are and what your potential is. A lot of us, we dim our potential. A lot of us don't even know our true potential because we have been so programmed and just stripped from everything that we are. So when it comes to mastering yourself and just healing to become the best version of yourself, it is very important to get back to the root of who you are. This is what helps to see your true potential and to actualize it. In order to really want to achieve your true potential, you have to be willing to put in that work. Now, a lot of us, when I say we're programmed, I really mean from childhood, from birth. We're programmed to think a certain way. We're programmed to be a certain way. We're not as creative, especially as we get older. A lot of our talents and our abilities we don't use as much. A lot of people are very talented, very gifted, and don't actually use their talents and their gifts to their full capability, which, guys, I am very guilty of that as well. So I try to make sure that I use my creativity in other ways when I can't apply it in certain other aspects. So it's really about using all of your talents and your abilities to your full potential. And that can be anything that you may be good at. You may be good at writing. You may be good at making music. You may be good at speaking. You may be good at helping others. You may be good at dancing. Just anything that you notice that you are good at, make sure that you're capitalizing off of that in some way. It doesn't have to be a way that looks like how others may capitalize off of that, but in a way that is unique to you and helps you to channel that to its full capacity. So the next one that we have is self-sovereignty, and this is the idea that you are in control of your own life. You make the decisions and you think for yourself. Nobody else gets to tell you what to do or how to live your life. You are the sovereign of your own life. Now, I like this one because a lot of people try to control what others do. People mostly want you to live in a box and conform. And that's something that is really hard to break free from in society because you don't always want to be that outcast. You don't always want to be that person to go against the grain and to just do what you feel, because a lot of people are going to criticize that because nobody's doing that. So making sure that you are in control of your life, you are taking action, you are doing the things that you want to do, and everything that you do is something that benefits you in a positive way. It's something that illuminates your soul. It's something that makes you happy. It's something that you enjoy, and you're not giving your power over to other people by following what they choose or what they want you to do or how they want you to be. I feel a lot of people do forget that we are in control of our life at the end of the day because of the fact that we do have certain things we have to do and certain places we have to be, certain things that we have to answer to. So a lot of the time we feel as though we are not powerful. We feel as though we don't have power and that we don't have control. But in actuality, you have control of your life. You make the decisions, you make the calls, and you do what you want to do. And that really gives you the ultimate freedom. Once you start living in that way, and you're not really answering to anybody, you're not answering to what people feel is best for you, and you're just doing what makes you happy, you're doing what you feel is best for you, you're going to feel so much peace. So make sure that you are living in your truth, and you are not doing something just because somebody told you that that's what you should do. Now, the next one is self-containment, and this says, as in restraint, the power to control one's actions, impulses, or emotions, a man of extraordinary self-containment. And an example that I put is that somebody that refuses to lose their temper in the most trying circumstances. So self-containment is very important, because when you do act out of your emotions, you're giving your power away. And I actually just did a video on how to regulate and control your emotions. That is a very, very important thing to learn and to master in this life. When you become a person that can contain themselves, whether that's contain your anger, contain your sexual energy, contain your mood, your emotions, you become a very powerful person. Because once you learn this, nothing can affect you, nothing can sway you, nothing can get you off of track, nothing can throw you off, because you are in control of who you are and your emotions. And it's funny because self-discipline is actually the one right after this. And this says the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses. The ability to pursue what one thinks is right, despite temptations to abandon it. Now, self-discipline is very difficult to harness, and it takes practice. It takes repetition. So it does take you to build new habits and to stick to those habits. And once you start getting that going and you start getting used to the habit of doing something consistently, that's what helps you to build that self-discipline. I'm actually going to be doing a video soon on the 12, I think it's like the 12 principles of self-discipline. I'm not sure, but you gotta have self-discipline in life, especially if you want to become a better version of yourself, or if you have goals that you want to achieve, or if you want healthy connections in your life, or if you just want a healthy lifestyle overall. Self-discipline is so important to master, because if you do not have self-discipline, you're gonna fall short of everything that you set out to do. So the next one that we have here is self-love, and this is the regard for one's own well-being and happiness. Self-love is so important, guys, and that should come before any other type of love that you have, because if you do not love yourself, it's going to be very hard for you to see the love in everything around you. Now, if you find that you struggle with self-love, maybe do some self-reflection, go back within maybe events in your life where you notice that people may have made you feel less than yourself, or made you feel insecure, or what situations caused you to not think as highly of yourself. This is something that I really had to do. I had to do a lot of self-reflection. I did this through journaling and writing about certain things about myself that I wasn't necessarily happy with, that I wanted to change, things that I wanted to do to become a better version of myself, and ways that I felt would help me to just start loving myself more. I started practicing more self-care, pouring into myself in the ways that made me feel confident, that made me feel happy, that made me feel loved. And a perfect way to do this is to think about the way that you would love somebody else, or the way that you would want to be loved, and give yourself that love. That is the perfect way to start loving yourself and pouring into yourself. And as you do this, you start to really see a difference within your energy, your confidence, your self-esteem. You will start to feel a lot better about yourself, and it's all about really taking care of yourself. That's mostly what self-love is. Making sure that you are drinking your water, eating, making sure that you are staying active, making sure that you are on top of your goals, making sure that you are not falling short of the things that you want to do. So even if you have a certain goal, or there are things that you want to do, making sure that you're living up to that, and that you're meeting those goals and that criteria for yourself. Because when you do fall short of certain things that you want for yourself, that tends to lead you to feel insecure, because you're not accomplishing the things that you want. You're letting your own self down, and then you start to not view yourself as highly as you would if you were actually going after the things that you want and doing the things that make you happy. So make sure that you are staying on top of your goals, that you are taking time to practice self-care and to get to know yourself and who you really are. So the next one that we have is spiritual integrity. This is the state of being undivided together with the quality of brutal self-honesty. It demands self-awareness and an uncompromising willingness to be authentic. The first step to cultivating spiritual integrity is to recognize that we are not always honest. Now, I personally really like this one because it helps you to acknowledge that you are not a perfect being, but you are imperfectly perfect. You have to show up as your authentic self. Now, with integrity, this is the quality of being honest and having strong principles and morals. So you have to make sure that you have those same principles and morals when it comes to your spiritual health and your well-being. Making sure that you are being honest in who you are, that you are showing up as your authentic self, and that you do have a system of morals and beliefs that are aligned with who you are spiritually. Once I started my healing journey, I had to really rethink and rewrite what my morals were, what my spiritual beliefs and my spiritual integrity was. And I had to rewrite it in a way that was more aligned with who I really am. Be yourself unapologetically. Believe in what you believe, feel how you feel, think what you think, and that's what's going to really help you to cultivate that spiritual integrity. So the next one we have is appreciation, which is also gratitude. This is the number one thing. I know I say all of these are number one because these are major key, guys. Like, these honestly are major key. And when you start appreciating life more and you just start appreciating the little things, your life transforms into this just abundant, positive, energetic life. Like, you're going to be on so much more of a higher vibration, and it is a significant difference. When I was more of a overthinker, which I still am, but I would negatively overthink. Now I overthink, but it's about things that I like, things that I enjoy, things that I'm excited for the future. And when I was more on the negative side and I was seeing things from a what was me perspective, a victim mentality, my life was just filled with destruction. It was filled with negative events. It was filled with chaos. And it wasn't until I broke free from that way of thinking, I started meditating, clearing my mind, practicing breathing techniques, and just staying true to what I wanted and I saw for myself. I started cultivating a life that was filled with much more peace. And now I'm at a point where I can be at peace despite what my situation is. I don't have to be in an amazing situation for me to genuinely be happy. I'm happy with whatever it is that I have. I'm grateful for everything, and I appreciate the little things. I celebrate the small wins, and with that, you will be blessed, you will be abundant, and your life will transform in a positive, beautiful, and drastic way. You will be surrounded by abundance, surrounded by happiness and joy, and it'll be a lot easier for you to stay up on just your energy levels, on your mindset, your positivity. So appreciation is major key. So make sure that you are being appreciative and grateful no matter what the circumstances are, because I guarantee you something that you're going through that you may deem to be negative can actually be working in your favor, but it's all about your perspective. So next we have patience, and we all know that patience is a virtue. Patience is a very important characteristic trait to have, because the best things in life, to be honest, take time, and you're not going to get everything that you want just at the snap of your fingers. That's just how life goes. And the sooner that you can accept that and realize that you don't always have control, the sooner you'll be able to be free and not put a time limit on everything. It's kind of hard because the world that we live in, we run off time, and time isn't necessarily a real thing. So the fact that we have dates on everything, we have days of the week, we have each time and hour of the day, it's very hard to not live life based off time. And we get so caught up in the time that we forget to just be present. And once you start becoming more present and you start getting into the practice of just allowing things to flow naturally and not putting a time limit, not rushing things, not feeling like you have to be on a certain timeline, the easier it'll be for you to cultivate patience. That's something that I had to realize, because I used to be somebody that was big on control. I wanted things when I wanted it. I wanted things to be how I wanted it to be. And I just noticed that that didn't do anything for me but stress me out. That's all it does, because you can't control everything. So next one we have is kindness. Kindness honestly gets you very far, despite how people try to paint out people that are kind to be naive or to be those that finish last. You have to have a balance. You have to be able to be disciplined enough to have your boundaries and to say no, to set your standards, to let people know what it is, but also being able to balance that with being a kind and giving individual, somebody that is willing to help others, somebody that is willing to be nice to other people. We don't have enough of that in the world, and that's why everybody is so angry. And it's really hard because it's just society. It's the government, it's the rules that we're under, it's everything that really makes people feel this anxiousness, this tension, and this anger and frustration on a day-to-day basis. So it's understandable. But just having a bit of kindness goes a long way. And what you put out really does come back. When you are a kind person and that is genuinely who you are, you'll always win. It doesn't matter if it seems like other people are getting over on you or the bad people always win. That's really not true. Like, if you look at the superhero movies, I know I'm talking about superheroes, but I love superhero movies, guys. If you look at the superhero movies, like, the villains, they seem like they're winning, but they lose in the end every time. Like, I don't know why they even try. They always lose. And when they don't lose, there's usually a part 2 to the movie. It's never the end. Like, I've never seen a superhero movie where the villain wins. But yeah, guys, so don't even worry about that. Just be kind, be good, put that energy out, because it's gonna come right back to you tenfold. I promise you that. And you never know what somebody else is going through. So just being kind and just spreading light and love can go a long way to just helping to heal the collective overall. I think people overlook the fact that it really does start with you. When you put certain good energy out into the world, it does cause a shift. And the more people that can do this, the more that we can collectively raise the consciousness of this world. So yeah. All right, so now we have conservation, and this is the careful maintenance and upkeep of a natural resource to prevent it from disappearing. A natural resource is the physical supply of something that exists in nature, such as soil, water, air, plants, animal, and energy. Being a conservative person is major key, and living in a world where everything is about consumerism, nobody's really being conscious, nobody's being conservative, nobody's really caring about the planet and conserving certain materials, and that's why we're running out. That's why we're running out. That's why, you know, certain animals are going extinct. It's sad, honestly. It really is. And this is where we live. Like, despite if we're gonna die or not, this is our home for the time being. It's important to care for the place that we live at and to show gratitude, because if the earth was not here, we would not be here. So just make sure that you are being conservative. So the next one that we have is cooperation and diplomacy, the art of dealing with people in a sensitive and effective way. Grace. Cooperation demonstrates the ability to work effectively and respectfully with diverse people or teams, make compromises, build consensus in decision-making, assume shared responsibility for collaborative work, and value the opinions and contributions of individual team members from a position of firm self-identity. A lot of these characteristics too, you guys, when you practice these characteristics in one aspect of your life, so say within work or just say within your own life, these characteristics will carry out into every single other area. That's why it's so important to master yourself first, because when you master yourself, you master everything else. Once you build discipline within yourself, you build discipline within your work, your career, the things that you go after, your goals. Once you build patience within yourself, you build patience within your connections, within friendships, family, relationships. It all carries out into every area, which is why it's so important to start with you and to do the inner work. When you master these things, your life is going to reflect that. It's going to show on the outside when you start doing this inner work. So last but not least, we have sense, and this is a person that has good judgment, wisdom, or just common sense. When it comes to sense, I think a big part of it is understanding others, understanding the way the world works, and being able to stop in a certain moment and actually think and reflect before speaking, before coming to a conclusion, before acting. A lot of people don't take the time to stop and think. So I feel that's where sense really comes in. That's from my perspective though. And the reason why I feel a lot of people, or why it may seem a lot of people lack sense or just common sense or general knowledge, wisdom, is because they don't take the time to stop and to think for themselves or to take the time to gain new knowledge. We're constantly and always going to be students to life. We don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. And that's why it's very important to come from a higher perspective and not from your ego, because then it allows you to be open to understanding that we don't always know things, but we have control of gaining that knowledge. We can think for ourselves. We can come to a conclusion about what something is. We can control our actions. We can control what we say. We can stop and think about what it is that we're about to do before we do it. And we have control of our mind. So it's very important to be conscious in everything that you do. And just coming from a place of using your general sense. That's it, you guys, for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed, because it was very fun for me, and I love learning new things that can help us to master ourselves, become a better version of ourselves, and just overall elevate and evolve spiritually, mentally, and physically, as well as emotionally. So if you enjoyed, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to stay tuned, send this video to somebody that you feel may find it useful or beneficial, and I will see you guys in my next one. Peace and much love.
Look at the streets, you are not my mate. If you become a chef, not be head of state. But my people then go say I know one buy, I know one die.